Hey guys, this is episode 10 of Miami Masterclass. My name is Ian and we are in the off season. I'm actually going to do this video slightly differently to how I've been doing them. I won't be doing like a live play as I talk because the off season can drag on. It took me about 2 hours to actually get through the off season, trying to look for trades and what have you. So I'm going to be using screenshots. I've taken screenshots as I've been going along and just sort of talking about what I've been doing, what my thoughts were, and that sort of thing. So we'll get straight into it. As you can see, the San Francisco Giants ended up winning the World Series in 2015, putting the even year theory to bed. They knocked over the LA Angels in 7 games. They actually had a 3-game lead, but allowed the Angels to level it up before they went on to win. Our division rivals, the New York Mets, they played 5 games against the Cardinals, but ended up getting knocked out. In terms of awards, the only ones that really matter to us is the Gold Glove winners, Martin Prado for third base. He did very well. And we had a couple in the Platinum Stick Award with Giancarlo Stanton, surprise, surprise, and Derek Dietrich, which makes no sense at all. So just a quick summary then of our year. As you can see, nothing spectacular. In June was a real highlight. We went 17-10, but September and October, the less said about that, the better. I spoke about the batting stats a bit in the last episode. We need to improve that. We were pretty poor. Otherwise, our pitching wasn't too bad. Here's a quick look at all our batting leaders. Giancarlo Stanton leads the vast majority of it. Heckavaria got 7 triples, and D. Gordon actually led hits with 148, just one more than our right fielder. Our pitchers, now this is only qualified starting pitchers, so Jose Fernandez doesn't appear on some of these, but Jared Cosart's actually a surprise, makes quite a few surprise appearances actually. Based on balls, he leads that by miles, but he leads it in wins and ERA, which is quite surprising. Dan Harron's Ks to walks ratio is very good too. But when you look at Jared Cosart there, he's only got 1.49 Ks to walks, so that's dreadful. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Fielding leaders, I didn't really talk too much about fielding during the season because it's something I tend to neglect, and I probably should pay more attention to it because when you look at errors, Heckavaria leads it with 17 errors. Now, admittedly, he is shortstop, so he's going to make a few more plays, but he's a very good shortstop, and he made 17 errors. I'm not too thrilled about that. And when you look at zone rating as well, Prado right up there. He saved nearly 10 runs, but Heckavaria hardly saved any. And players like Solano down there, Sweeney, they ended up doing nothing, which I'm not too surprised about. But the off-season started badly for us. Ben Revere suffered a setback. He was out for another 3 months. Thankfully, it was the off-season, but that's 3 injuries now to Ben Revere since we picked him up. And I wasn't too thrilled about that. And then it got a lot worse because Jeffrey Loria, our owner, he wasn't too thrilled. He was quite happy with that we played close to 500 ball. Didn't think Danny Santana was a good enough shortstop to improve it. Hated the fact that Matt Latos went, and I don't blame him. I'm right there with him on that one. But look at the goals coming up. He doesn't want us to suck completely, so that means basically just win a game and he'll be happy. But he wants us to upgrade second base. I don't really agree with that because D. Gordon's very good. Improved team home runs, I agree with that. We were dead last in the National League. He wants us to acquire a Cy Young Award winner. Okay, well, let's hope he gives us a good budget. Oh, no. He's not going to give us a good budget. We had a budget of in 2015 of around 130 million, and it's now down to 97 million, which is the worst budget in all of MLB. So, I mean, I don't know how he expects us to get a Cy Young winner when we have no money. A team payroll of just 60 million to work with, and we've got no money. So that just threw everything out of the window in terms of my off-season, because I originally had these grand plans that I was going to re-sign Matt Latos and maybe even pick up someone like Cueto or someone and make you guys think, wow, this guy knows how to play out of the park baseball. But unfortunately, we had no money, so I had to start changing my plans significantly. And then it got worse, because this guy, Von Joshua, he's our manager. We brought him in I believe it was it wouldn't be April, it must have been June. because I fired myself from manager role. And Von Joshua started off very well, signed him to a 3-year contract, but he decided to retire, so he didn't even last a year. I was a bit disappointed with the way he finished the season, but I kind of expected him to at least run out another year before I sort of made any snap decisions on his performance. So he's gone, so we had to start looking for another manager as well. So we've had 3 lots of bad news, and the off-season hadn't even started. Look, when you look up the top there, today, the off-season start. So the off-season hasn't even started yet, and we've had 3 pieces of bad news. But in terms of arbitration-eligible players, I won't go through all of these, but Aaron Crowe, I didn't offer him anything because he was the one that was injured for the whole season, didn't play. I wasn't going to offer him anything. Donovan Solano and Don Kelly were the same. Marcell Ozuna, I actually lowered the initial estimate. I only offered him $4 million. Cishek offered him $7 million. I'll talk more about these when the actual results come in. In the meantime, we did bring in a manager, Gary Jones. He hasn't actually have any experience, but he's quite good. He's very aggressive stealer, aggressive base running. He likes to pull pitches early, which I'm all for, and he does favour the left-right matchup. So I'm quite pleased with him. We brought him in on a $2 million contract over the 3 years. Perhaps a little bit too much, but let's see how he does. This is just confirmation. There we go. Martin Prado, he got the Gold Glove, third base. And then we made a trade. We brought in, Christian Walker, first baseman from Baltimore, but we had to give up quite a lot for him. JT Realmuto, shortstop Darnell Sweeney, and some minor leaguer who was never going to go anywhere, Christian Capellan. I got rid of Realmuto because, as you remember, we have Kyle Schwarber and we have Tim Federowicz, and there's just no room for three catches. So Realmuto, he hasn't impressed me last year, so I thought, you know what, let's get rid of him. Let's try and bring in someone with a bit of ability. So we brought in Christian Walker, a first baseman from Baltimore, and I quite like him. He's nothing spectacular, but he's got a bit of room for improvement across the board. He did do very well for Baltimore last year. He did bat .256. But with Mike Morse, he's aging. His contract runs out at the end of 2016. And we have Justin Bour, I believe his name is. Justin Bour's not much better than Christian Walker. So with Christian being nearly 25, he should be able to make the lineup. We'll have to wait to see. I think we did get a little bit ripped off because I think Realmuto's a bit better than this guy. But we had to get rid of him, and we did need to improve the first base. We did need to improve both corners, actually, first base and third base. So we brought Walker in. Then we had the arbitration results. Ramos got 1.9. Henderson Alvarez got 5.4. We'd only offered him 4.4, so we got $1 million extra. Tanner Scheppers, they agreed with us on that one. He only got $800,000. Cishek, $9.3 million. I feel like we got ripped off massively on that one. He's great, but he's not that great. Dale Taylor, he wanted $2 million. He only got 1.4. Marcell Ozuna got a little bit more than what we offered, so I think that's a fair deal, $4.4 million. And Vin Mazzaro, he's almost a career AAA sort of player. He wanted $1.2 million, but he only got $800,000. Drew Robinson, we claimed him off the Rule 5 draft. I was a bit unsure. I wasn't really impressed with anybody. But our scouting director, Meek, I believe his name is Steve Meek, he really liked this guy. I picked him up purely because of his eye there. It's very good, and he's only young. Obviously, he's got good base running, which is something that we need to look into, because if Gary, what's his name? Gary, our manager? I don't know. I've forgotten his name already. That's great. Gary, he loves stealing bases, and he's very aggressive at base running. So we need real quick guys. So I brought him in. Truth be told, I don't think he's even going to make the team, and he might end up flying back to Texas. But he was worth picking up to see what he can do in case we can't improve third base. We then made another trade in mid-December. We got rid of Marcell Ozuna and Vin Mazzaro actually for Jose Iglesias. Again, I think we got a little bit ripped off, but there was a method to my madness because Ozuna's on a $4.4 million contract from his arbitration hearing, whereas Jose Iglesias is only on 1.6 because we had no money. That's something that I had to improve. We had no money. I wanted to pick up a few free agents, so we had to start offloading some of our bigger contracts so we could free up some cash. Now, Iglesias, he's nothing spectacular. He's great shortstop. He's probably slightly better than Hechavarria in that regard. His batting stats aren't much of an improvement over Hechavarria, but of course, as you can see, he can play third base as well, so he could have a sort of platoon thing going between third base and shortstop with Prado and Hechavarria. So we picked him up purely just to save some money. He's not an improvement by any means. We then made our first signing with the money that we saved from the trade. We picked up Ivan Nova. Signed on Boxing Day. We got him for 2 years, $1 million this year, and I think it's $1.3 million in 2017. He's not a fantastic pitcher, but he's not bad, and he's certainly going to make our rotation slightly stronger. He didn't do too badly. He made 15 starts last year for the Yankees, and he had an ERA of 4. I quite like him. I'm pleased that we got him. For that money, I feel like we got a bargain. We also picked up Nori Aoki with the cash. He's going to be just a backup, really. He can play all across from left field right the way through to right field. Avoids Ks and has good contact. He's nearly 34 years of age, so he's stealing, his base running, his speed, that might start declining slightly, but we've only signed him for a year on $1.1 million. And last year he actually got traded to Houston. And as you can see, in San Fran he went 273, and Houston he actually improved slightly and went 279. So I think he's going to be a very good backup. If that, I mean, he probably might not even make any more than a few handful of like pinch hitter appearances, but we'll have to wait and see. But for that money, for $1.1 million, I feel like he's worth it. Just in case you're interested, Ken Griffey Jr. was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then we made another trade. This one was in January, so we're moving along now. Now this one is actually a double trade that didn't mean to be a double trade, and I'll explain that when you see in the next couple of screens. We picked up CJ Cron from our division rivals Philadelphia, and we had to let Justin Nicolino go. I don't actually have a screenshot of Nicolino, but you might remember from the last video I did bring him up during the call-ups. He didn't actually make an appearance. He's not a bad player. He's got a bit of potential, but his control wasn't that great from memory. There was definitely something about him that I wasn't sort of sold on. So yeah, we traded him to our division rivals for CJ Cron. For sure, Nicolino's going to pitch a perfect game against us sometime this season. I can see that. So this is the guy, CJ Cron. We brought him in. He's only on $500,000 a year, which is fantastic for us. Again, we're just trying to save that bit of money. And I brought him in because he's a great contact hitter, and he's got home run ability as well. And last year, in 67 games, he hit 11 home runs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him sort of hit 25, 26 home runs, which someone to go along with Giancarlo Stanton in sort of the 3, 4, 5 hole, I'm quite impressed with him. He's not got a lot of speed there at running the bases, and his discipline's right down. But yeah, I'm happy with him. He's certainly an improvement over Mike Morse. And so that is the next thing, because we got rid of Mike Morse. I've been trying to get rid of him for the entire offseason. This is why my offseason took 2 hours to sim, because I just could not get rid of this guy. I was offering him to every single team under the sun, and they were either coming back with someone of equal salary, or they just weren't good enough for us. And Mike Morse is on $8 million this year, and that's a lot of money, and we needed to free that money up. So I think we came out very well, because the Phillies are in a rebuild phase, and we picked up Will Venable from him. He's 33. He's the same age as Mike Morse. Nope, where are we? Nope, that's Mike Reynolds. Will Venable, there you go. He's the same age as Mike Morse, but he's not got great batting ratings. He's got a bit of speed on him. He's going to be nothing more than a backup to the backups, basically. I think even Nori Aoki's slightly better than this guy. His contract runs out at the end of the year. But as you can see there, his salary is only $3.6 million. Don't forget, Mike Morse was $8 million. So I think they did slightly better, because Mike Morse is probably slightly better than Will Venable, but we've saved a lot of money by bringing this guy in, and that's what I want to do. We need to save money. And you know what? I don't think Will Venable's that bad. We're not going to be re-signing him at $3.6 million. He's certainly not worth that money. But to save a bit of money, get rid of Mike Morse, and allow Bohr, and I believe who's the other. I can't even remember who the first baseman was. Yeah, I've forgotten his name. That's terrible. That shows how professional I am. But the first baseman that we brought in earlier, CJ Cron. So CJ Cron and Bohr can make the position their own now, and I think Cron's an improvement over Mike Morse. So I've spoiled the next screenshot because I've actually put them in the wrong order. We then signed this guy, Mark Reynolds, from free agency. He's not a bad player. He's only on just over $1 million. We signed him for a 1-year contract at third base. Again, got real home run power, good discipline at the plate. Contact's a little down, but even if he doesn't play every game, he's certainly going to hit us a few home runs. He got 9 home runs in 40 there. So again, I could see him being a 20 home run sort of guy this year. And during the pre-season, during spring training, we lost Giancarlo Stanton for 3 weeks. He tore a ligament in his thumb, which that's another worry. He got injured towards the end of last season, and now he's injured again. He did make it back in time for opening day though, so that's a slight relief. But not having him during spring training is a bit of a worry. Here's the player development report. The only one that I really wanted to mention on this screen before I go into individual pages was Carter Capps. He's improved slightly, which is promising as a relief pitcher. This guy, Jake Thompson, we brought him in on the Matt Latos trade, I believe. He improved leaps and bounds during the off-season, and I could see him perhaps even pushing into the active roster by the end of the year. And he's looking so promising. He had a bad year in AAA last year, so he's going to stay there next year, for this year, I should say, and we'll have to wait and see how he performs. Adam Conley, he's been in our minor league system for a while now. He improved a lot, and he's in AAA. He improved quite a lot actually over the off season. His control moved up a lot. From memory, his control was right down, but that's bumped up. He's got good stamina, and so I could see him. I could see him doing something this year. Which brings me on to Christian Yelich. This guy's. I'm so glad we kept him because I really wanted to trade him away after we brought in Nori Aoki. And we still had Ben Revere who could play left field as well. I thought, we don't need this guy around anymore. But we kept him, and I'm glad we did because he improved on leaps and bounds as well. And I think he's going to be a solid player this year. Last year he batted .267, which is slightly down from his 2014 stats, but improving so much, and he's got good speed at running the bases. So this is his sort of make or break year this year. Because of his salary so low, it's only $1 million, so there's no point in getting rid of him because I'm not freeing up any cash really. And I'm glad I did because as I said, the player report came out and he's improved on his abilities massively. So this was the end of spring training. Not much to look at here. We did finish 14-12 behind the Atlanta Braves. I'm not going to go into great detail on spring training. If you want to have a closer look at some of these stats, feel free to pause the video. The batting leaders and the qualified players, CJ Cron actually appears quite a lot. He hit 4 home runs, got great slugging, total bases is up there, extra base hits, he got 10, so he did very, very well. Kyle Schwarber also gets a couple of mentions with base on balls and strikeouts. Pitchers, not much to talk about here. Henderson Alvarez, Jose Fernandez, they make a couple of appearances with their wins. Brad Hand is the big one. He got 4 losses, and if I can find it, he gave up 11 walks. There you go, he gave up 11 walks, which is why I'm a little unsure about him, but I have to keep him around because he's our only left-handed pitcher in our entire active roster. We don't have any lefties in the rotation or in the bullpen. And here's the preseason predictions, and this is what I want to see. We're predicted to win the division quite comfortably. We're expected to go 90 wins. I don't think we might get that, but I don't think we can expect to be too far off of that, and I'm quite pleased with it. We also have appearances from Jose Fernandez and Henderson Alvarez, funnily enough, who are expected to be the top 10 pitchers in the National League. So this is our team heading into opening day. As you see, Jose Fernandez is our opening day pitcher. Then we've got Henderson Alvarez. Sam Dyson keeps his spot in the lineup. Jared Cosart, I'm a bit unsure about him. And Ivan Nova filling out the rotation. Steve Cishek, of course, our closer. AJ Ramos is secondary to that. Dale Taylor, the other setup. And then we have Brian Morris, Tanner Sheppers. Preston Claiborne, I didn't mention him at all, I don't think, last season. I actually claimed him off waivers from the Yankees and then forgot all about him. And so he was languishing in AAA for a little while. I mean, shows how professional I am at this game. And he's come up. He's a very good relief pitcher, so I'll be interested to see how he goes. Now he's actually back in the active roster. And of course, Brad Hand, our only lefty, and he had a very poor spring training. So I'm going to be watching him quite closely in the first month of April, and maybe looking at getting rid of him. Our lineup is slightly different, obviously, to last season. D. Gordon and Ben Revere, they're rotating in the initial leadoff. Martin Prado makes a couple of appearances against lefties only. Then we have CJ Cron, who we got from the Phillies, and Giancarlo Stanton behind him in right field. Kyle Schwarber has made the catcher spot his own, which means Federowicz is going to be the backup now. Yelich has taken over the left field role, and then we have Mark Reynolds at third base. Danny Santana is the best shortstop. Jose Iglesias doesn't even make the lineup. He's a backup at third base and shortstop. Nori Aoki and Will Venable, they're backups. They're actually the designated hitter roles when we play the American League teams. They'll probably get the occasional spot start. There's a notable absence, of course, from Hechavarria. We had to make a decision on him, and he is now languishing on the waivers. I'm going to try and demote him back down to AAA unless someone picks him up. Jose Iglesias is only a touch better than Hechavarria, and he's not even getting into the lineup, so there's no point in having another shortstop sitting around doing nothing, so he's gone. Martin Prado, he only makes the occasional appearance as well, so we might be trying to offload him. He's on an $11 million contract, and I couldn't get rid of him if I tried. All the teams that were desperate to get rid of, desperate to find a third baseman, I should say, they didn't want a bar of him because they just couldn't afford him, so we're stuck with him. But his contract runs out at the end of the year, and I don't think he's going to be hanging around. So just to summarise then, the financial summary before we head into opening day. Our budget, as you can see, our budget history was up near $130 million. That's dropped down by almost a quarter, down to $97 million. Our expenses are going to drop by about $14 million, and we're expected to basically earn about $114 million, which is what we earned last year. Ticket price stays the same as well, in case you're interested in that sort of thing. And that is our off-season, and I think we did very, very well. It's still early days, obviously. I don't want to get ahead of myself and start dreaming big, but I think we might squeeze into the playoffs here, which will make our owner happy. So I won't be doing a video tomorrow, being Sunday. The next video will be Monday morning, hopefully. And yeah, we can get cracking, and hopefully this year's the year, maybe. See you later. Thanks for watching.